Hi everyone, welcome to April's Q&A video. So I'm answering all the questions I got in the month of April, and this is something that I'll be doing every month. So if you have any questions for me, because I get quite a lot of emails and quite a lot of comments on social media, sometimes I can't always get back to you one-on-one. So this way you can ask me any questions and then I'll address them all in one hit in a video. And hopefully give you a bit more of a personalised feel. So I've got my laptop here with some questions. I've written down some notes on the questions that I was asked, and I have my cup of tea. Very English, even though I'm in Canada. So I'm going to go through some of these questions. So the first one is from Alexandra, and she asks, I really want to lose weight. I've tried Slimming World and Weight Watchers and they all work, but I always put the weight back on. How can I lose weight? Now this isn't necessarily a rider specific question because she's asking me about weight loss, but obviously the lighter that we weigh, effectively, as long as we're in a healthy range, the better it's going to be for the horse. Mechanically, the horse is going to be more proficient if we are carrying less weight. We're actually able to control our own body mass if majority of our mass is lean mass and not fat mass, and you're going to feel fitter and healthier. So losing weight is something that I need to do myself, and I address with most people that you train. It's, we're all trying to get to that optimum weight range. So I haven't used Slimming World or Weight Watchers before, but I know that they can and do work, and they work on different systems, but essentially it's just portion control. The thing about Slimming World and Weight Watchers is that people go by calories rather than always the most nutrient dense foods, and personally, I guess I would personally prefer to educate somebody about nutritious whole food and then enjoying treats every now and then, because life is a balance, and then becoming a lifestyle rather than always trying to lose weight, and generally having like a maintenance level that that you kind of stick to reasonably well. Obviously, if you're riding, it's not like you're bodybuilding and you got to hit a certain body composition, but you would, if I was training you for riding, I might get you that little bit leaner in preparation for your competitions, just so that you have a little less weight for the horse to carry around the round. So that might be something that you include into your comp prep. So yes, I do think they work, and I think sometimes they can be very motivating if you've got a goal that you need to hit quickly, like a wedding or an event or something. But personally, I try to steer clear from those methods. What I would advise any of my clients to do is just to try and eat as many whole, clean foods as they can. So anything that you can pick up from essentially the perimeter of the shops, fruit and vegetables, anything in the, not anything in the freezer section, but your frozen vegetables, frozen berries, and try and avoid anything packaged. But it's also life, and we're also busy people, so just try and choose like the options that have the least ingredients in them. So sometimes I'll use a packet of rice, and then is it healthier than boiling my own rice? Probably not, because they've got additives and preservatives added in there, but sometimes you need something quick and easy. And I would seriously consider what you're eating to be fueling your riding and fueling your workouts. And I think if you can adapt your mental approach to change to that, then eating becomes easier to stick to, because you have to question to yourself, like, why am I putting that in my body? Is it going to help my riding? No. Is it going to help my goals? No. So it's more objective. You can more easily say it's not going to help. When you're on Weight Watchers, you might have 1 point for a carrot cake. Is that carrot cake, it's only 1 point, you can eat it, you might be able to eat 2 of them. Is it actually going to do anything nutritionally for you? Well, it might give you a little carb boost before you go around the cross-country course. So I'm not saying don't ever eat sugary foods, but you just need to think about when you're eating them and why you're eating them. So something I can offer, I'm not a nutritionist, but something I can offer through my bespoke programming is I can look at food diaries, and I can help you with timing of food and when you should be eating your food in according to how many horses you ride and when you go to the gym. For example, like I will eat protein and carb only after a meal. I won't consume fat, and I won't consume carb at my last meal, but then I have carbs at 4 other meals throughout the day, and you can manipulate your fat, carb and protein intake. And usually what people find is they're not consuming enough protein, particularly if you're active and you're going to the gym as well as you're riding. and you're not getting enough muscle recovery, so you're feeling tired and you're feeling sore. So that would be something that I could work with you on if you wanted some assistance. So in short, yes, they're going to work to help you lose weight. Are they going to make you the most functional athlete that you could be? No, probably not. So Charlotte asks, well, I have to eat unhealthily when I'm at a cross-country course, either competing or watching, because there's no healthy food choices. So I have to eat baguettes, chips and cakes. But my calories are okay, so it can't be too bad. I'm afraid, Charlotte, I wouldn't necessarily agree with this. And I think it's okay to have the... and it depends what your goals are. Like, I think it's okay to have a day sometimes. You know, like when I go and watch the rugby sevens, I generally eat and drink what I want because it's a fun day. But it's very, you know, a day can quickly come into a weekend, because I find that if I let myself go for more than one meal, I find it takes me 2 or 3 days to get back on track, because I just want more and more and more of the good stuff. So I would say that just because there aren't any healthy food choices, it doesn't mean that you can't make healthy food choices. So for example, like I'm flying back to the UK on Saturday, and I have a whole cool bag that I'm taking on the plane that is going to take me through from Friday night to Sunday morning. And I've got meals prepped in there. I'm taking some chicken breast, I'm taking some broccoli, I'm taking some rice cakes, peanut butter. I've got some oatmeal in like single serve packets, so you just need hot water. I have got, what else have I got in there? Some protein bars. I've got some protein shake in Ziploc bags. I've got canned tuna. I've got some almonds, and I also have some packets of spinach that I'm going to take. So I don't think saying there's no healthy food choices, so I have to eat bad, is a good excuse. I understand that it's more difficult, but I think that you can make healthy food choices. You know, you can make homemade like brown muffins, you can make homemade protein bars, you could pick up some protein. I mean, a protein bar is not the best thing for you, but it's going to be better than the baguette, the chips and the cakes. Just because your calories are okay, again, like we need to get out of this like calories in, calories out. Yes, the more calories you consume, you need to expend that amount if you need to be in a deficit to lose weight. But weight loss isn't always what we're looking for. We want weight loss whilst we're maintaining our performance and our energy. So you want to be thinking about having a steady influx of carbs, protein and fats throughout the whole day. And, you know, I've found for me that eating 5 to 6 meals every 2.5 to 3 hours, and they have roughly the same nutritional intake. So I have much smaller meals and more of them. And I find that just keeps me going all day, and I very rarely crash anymore. And that's what's worked for me. And I think you need to try a few different things. And I think it's okay to eat baguettes and cakes every now and then, because if you're only going to the cross country once, like, then yeah, of course, at badminton, who doesn't eat cheesy chips and things? But if you're a competitor and you're eventing like every weekend, 2-3 times a week, that's quickly going to get out of hand, and you're going to get tired, and you're going to get grumpy, and you're going to rely on the carbs. And even the thinnest of people can get diabetes from like poor carbohydrate control. So I would say that try taking some things with you. You know, rice cakes and peanut butter is a go-to snack for me, with a bit of banana on is a go-to snack when I want something sweet. I find a protein shake with an apple can usually keep me going for a few hours. The oatmeal pack, you can buy like a pots of oatmeal instead of packs as well, so all you need is hot water. And most vendors will be happy, if they have a coffee stand, they will be happy to fill up your oatmeal for you with water. I mean, most people would do that for you. Obviously there's fruit that has its own coverings, so bananas and oranges and apples are good things to take out with you. So yeah, I do understand, and I've been there many a times, and I think just make sure you're in control of that. So if you choose to have that day, great. But if you don't want to lose your goals and you do want to perform, you know, your best, then there are ways that you can control that, and you have to plan beforehand. You might have to go and get yourself a nice cooler, but it can be done. Sarah, are the programs that you offer progressive? This is a good question. So at the moment, the only ones released on my website is the 30-day challenge and the VentFit Phase 1. Those two actually are not progressive, but well, they're progressive in some ways. They're not designed to be progressive. So the 30-day challenge, cardiovascularly, is actually quite an effort. It's quite a, you know, it's high intensity interval training, body weight only, but high intensity interval training. So You'll probably feel it cardiovascularly more than you will phase 1, because phase 1 is like an introductory phase where we go through reset exercises, so we make sure we're warming up the body functionally, and we go through progressive strength exercises, so that phase 1, 2 and 3 are designed to be, it's designed so you do phase 1 and you do phase 2 and then you do phase 3. So for example, you might start with a hip hinge exercise in phase 1, and then at the end of phase 1 you might do a cable pull through or a resistance band pull through, and then in phase 2 you might do a Romanian deadlift, and then in phase 3 you might do a split stance wide squat deadlift. And so all the exercises are progressive, as is the intensity. And then phase 1 is designed to get your body moving with some weight. Phase 2 is designed to get you to, like, be in control of your torso, single leg balance, a bit more advanced core movements, jumps, so that you get used to controlling the shoulders over the hips. And then phase 3 is your very sport specific. So we do all this balance and control whilst we do like high intensity interval training and really like test your metabolic pathways and make sure that you can perform under metabolic fatigue. So they are progressive. Event Fit phase 1, 2 and 3 is progressive. Event Fit phase 2 I've nearly finished writing, so that should be uploaded. I just need to do all the videos in the next few weeks. Phase 1 is up there. I'm just going to make some tweaks to the PDF, but that's already up there. And if there's any other programs you want to see that you'd like me to write, then let me know and I can do that. Like, it's up to me what I put up there. So if there's a specific type of workout that you want to see up there, go for it and let me know. Okay, Faith asks, I want to work out but I can't afford the gym. What exercise equipment should I invest in? Okay, when I was back in the UK, I had a fully loaded gym in my garage. It was brilliant. I loved it. You know, we had a barbell, we had plates, we had a squat rack, we had chains, bands, you name it, dumbbells, we had the lot. So now we moved to Canada, I do have a gym, but sometimes, you know, I've got kids, I can't get to the gym, or I want to demo videos for people that don't want to go to the gym. So what I bought was a yoga mat. I also bought a couple of sets of dumbbells. I probably need more, but at the moment it works. I've got a set of £10 and a set of £5. They're a little light for me. For most of my exercises, but that's the other thing, you'll have to keep increasing the weight. So if you really want to invest, you can get dumbbells that actually like change the weight, so they're like multiple dumbbells in one, but they're pretty pricey. And you can buy cheapy dumbbells that will do the job in like Asda, Walmart. I also have, my favourite thing is a set of resistance bands, and I think I bought it for like $20 in Walmart, so it's about £10. And it comes with a few different resistance bands, and the best thing about it is it comes with a door anchor, which means that you can attach it under the door and then attach the rope to it, and then you can do lots of exercises like pulls, because it's really difficult to do back exercises from home without like a pull-up machine or, you know, cables and things. So this door anchor, and if you just Google door anchor resistance bands in Amazon, you'll find it. I think it was £7, not even £7, it might have been $7. Quite cheap. It just goes in the door. And that's been a lifesaver, so I'd get one of those. I'd also get a stability ball. The size doesn't really matter, like there's some, you're supposed to have a 90-degree angle when you bend your legs, but I wouldn't really worry about the size of it too much. Just something that suits your home, so I've got a little one. I also get, if you can afford it, kettlebells, but you can do pretty much, you can do like dumbbell swings instead of kettlebell swings, so it's neither here nor there. I would invest in a good foam roller, because riders tend to get quite tight, quite knotty. So I'd invest in a good foam roller, and perhaps some sort of tennis ball or cross ball that you can do some mobilisations with. And that would be the extent of my home gym to start with. And most of my members section workouts will be based on those bits of equipment, because that's what most people can afford. I think I bought the lot for less than $100, so that would have been about £50, which isn't too bad of an investment. It's like, what, 1 month's gym membership? Claire, how often should I work out to get fit to ride? This is a really interesting question, because this is where things I get asked the most is, what do I need to do to get fit to ride? What exercises are going to make me fit to ride? It's a very generic question. I think I need to just pinpoint here that being a functional person and athlete is going to make you a better rider. I've done a lot of research into riding, and I think, in my personal opinion, a lot of what you read and hear on the internet is sensationalised. Yes, there are specific areas or exercises that I would include. So for example, when I look at riding, when you break it down, and obviously you've got to think about different disciplines and different positions as well, but from a very broke down point of view, it is relatively stable, as in most of the muscular patterns, particularly for dressage, are isometric with a little bit of movement involved. So you need to be able to have good posture, which I'm contradicting right now. You need to have good posture, good control over your body. You need to be able to maintain that for a pretty long period of time, because unlike most other sports, with horse riding, you are training for your training. And what I mean by that is, for example, I don't know, rugby, hour and a half, tennis, hours on end, you know? And so the training sessions don't very often last as long as the competition. Whereas equestrianism, you've got, 5 minutes for the dressage, 2 minutes, if that, for the show jumping, 5 minutes plus, depending on your level, for the cross country. You spend a lot of time on the horse actually competing, whereas you're training for a substantial period of time. So the endurance you need actually comes from the requirements to train the horse. And you need to be able to do that because that's what you do all day, every day, multiple times a day if you have multiple horses. So you need to be fit enough to cope with your training demands and how to train your horse rather than what you need to do in competition, which is interesting. And I think it's one of the only sports that you really see that reverse training requirement. So for show jumpers, you need to have a good hip hinge mechanism. So you need to be open and shut that hip quite explosively, actually. People always say it's not an explosive sport, but if you actually go and watch people's hip extension, flexion, and show jumping cross country, you need to be able to control that pretty quickly. So we need to have good control over our torso. I also believe you need to have good scapular stabilisation, because a lot of riders do, lots of mucking out one-sided stuff, and they tend to get quite rounded, and I'm typical of this, in the shoulders, very weak through the scapula, and they often don't have much control. So when I look at riders doing like overhead mechanisms, they're wobbling all over the place. So I often work on scapular stability. I also work on glute stability, because when you sit down for a prolonged period of time, your glute switches off, and riders tend to either sit in the saddle a lot, sit in their car a lot, or sit at the desk a lot, and therefore they're permanently sitting on the butt. And one of my jobs is to re-engage your glutes, because a lot of the time when I see riders squat, it's a messy pattern. And you need to have these functional movement patterns. It's just going to make you a better person, a more functional person, less susceptible to injury. Then we come to the sport specifics. So often I spend quite a few months just getting somebody to have normal movement functional patterns without pain, just getting them moving before I move to this fancy sport specific stuff. And this is where I feel like a lot of companies actually kind of miss the trick a little bit, and they go straight to the advertising. Well, I am here to make money, but I'm not here to make money. I want to make riders the best riders they can be. So getting you to kneel on stability balls before you can actually do a good squat is of no interest to me. I'm not interested in these balanced exercises until you've got the basic movement patterns down. Only then we'll move on. And yes, there are sport-specific things you can do, but for me, the sport specificity comes in the duration of the activity, mocking the physiological demands you need to cope with your competition and training. And then I will always work on, obviously, core, goes without saying, scap stability, glute stability, specifically glute need, as well as overall body strength. Then, once somebody's got to that level, I would include single leg exercises. I would include jumping, so not jumping up, but jumping down. So you might stand on a box, sofa, chair, whatever, and then jump off of it, and then control that landing. And then really sport-specific stuff will come much later when you're very, very fit and ready for it. And we would do things which is called perturbated training. So we would do, you'd need a partner, and we'd get some bands, and we'd like put you off, so you wouldn't know. Because the thing with horse riding is it's unexpected movement patterns. So you need to be able to resist unexpected movement. So therefore you need to be able to train for that. So in the gym, when you're doing your squats, I might have someone pull a band and put you off, and you need to be able to try and control that, because that's what happens when you ride. So sport specificity is there, but it's far more important to get functional first. Now, in terms of going back to the question, how often should I work out to get fit to ride? This is the golden egg question. And if I had the answer for everybody, I'd be so rich. This is why bespoke programming is often the best way to go. And I think I might be the only one, if not one of the only ones, that do online bespoke programming. So I will write you a program specific to you, specific to the equipment you have, specific to your time, your goals, and your competition season. I can only take on a certain amount of clients because that obviously takes a lot of time. So if you're interested in that option, you can email me at info@eventingfit.com. I would be pleased to hear from you. Yeah, how often should you... I mean, you want to be working out minimum once a week, at least a couple of times a week to get any training benefit. You need to repeat the training stimulus, the exercise stimulus a few times to get the training benefit. So consistency is better than on-off, on-off. It depends how many horses you're riding. You know, if you're in the saddle 10 times a day, then your off-horse training is going to be less. It depends how fit you currently are, how much training background you've got. You know, somebody who's new to training is going to pick up the pace with their training very quickly, whereas somebody who's already pretty well established, you're going to have to use more advanced methods to get a training response from them. So a good baseline to go is 3 times a week, but some of my riders, I'll only have them performing exercises twice a week, and some of them will be 6. Some of them will be double days. And it depends what you're training for. Like, are you training to be fit to ride, or do you want to train for something else? Because my own training at the moment, I'm not training to be fit to ride. I don't really have that many access to horses out here. I'm not competing, so I've changed my focus for an aesthetic lift, and I'm actually training twice a day at the moment. 1 cardio, 1 lift for 6 days. But that isn't going to be something that I would necessarily get you guys to do. You might be an event rider riding 10 horses a day, and I might get you doing 1 strength session, 1 cardio session, and then in between that you might have bits of mobility, because you know your training load, including what you're doing on the horse, is very, very high, and it might be that you just need to correct some imbalances and just maintain strength. So I would shoot for 2 to 3 times a week minimum, and then you know, if you want something that's specific to you, have a look at the programs or get in touch with me. Or if you have any more specific questions that are more specific than that, just send them to me, and then I will answer them on next month's video. So throughout the month of May, I am actually doing a discount on my website with the code WELCOME20. So if you do decide to purchase anything, you'll get the 20% discount. But what I want this member section to feel like is, I want it to feel like I am your coach, I am your trainer, and you have joined the EventFit Members Club, so you're paying £5 a month, and you'll get a couple of one plus upload a week on something related to rider fitness, a Q&A video, how to fix your form, something about being a fitter, healthier person that other people aren't going to get. So I do blogs that are free to other people, but in your member section, it's stuff that is just for you. And what I want you to think about, the way I want you to think about this is that you can make it quite reactive. So by commenting on the post, you can also ask me or email me what you'd like to see in next month's or next week's members section, and I will react based on what you want to see. And it doesn't have to be about rider fitness, it could be about fitness, health and nutrition in general. But basically the way I see this is that it's like having me accessible to you, but for much less of the cost, because it's a way that I can interact with people and share knowledge and, you know, get a feel for what people want on a kind of one-to-one basis, so that you can ask me questions and I will answer them directly. So I hope you like the question and answer video. I tend to watch these sorts of videos whilst I'm cooking or whilst I'm in the gym myself on doing my cardio. So hopefully it will help you through the day, and I hope you have a nice month, and I look forward to answering the question and answers for next month. So if you have any questions, please put them below this video, or I'll sift through the whole of my website and look for questions, and I look forward to answering them and seeing lots more questions coming through. Thanks for anyone that had a question, and I hope I answered it.